Danganronpa and Trigger Happy Havoc, whose music is just bumping. Can we just take a moment to appreciate every single track in this game so I don't have to proceed with the trial? Thoroughly appreciated. Alright, it's okay, we're doing the trial today. It's shaping up to be a very interesting and complex one. I can already feel my brain cells deteriorating trying to do the manga at the end. Excited but nervous. Excited because it feels like this one's gonna be fairly interesting. Nervous because I have a slight worry that it's gonna do the same thing that the other two trials have done so far, where like we're gonna get to an interesting solve, like assuming my theory is correct that Hifumi was conspiring and locked the repository door after running over there. Perhaps with Taka's body. Supposing that was the solution. I have a bad feeling we would get to that point and then it would be like, Makoto would be like, all they would need to say is, so if it wasn't the killer, then it must have been, and then they would let me pick the character there, and I probably would have been able to work it out from that. But I have a bad feeling we would get to that point and it would say, so it wasn't the killer, but it couldn't have been anyone else who was searching around that time, because the only two people in there were Taka and Hifumi, and Taka was dead, so that would mean... I feel like they're gonna do one of those. And likewise, if my solve that the note was written by Celeste because her Japanese isn't as strong, rather than being like someone who would have trouble writing Japanese, I guess that would have to be, and then letting me pick from there, they would be like, I guess it would have to be someone who only moved here recently. Is there anyone whose last name might hint that they moved here recently? Like, you know, that sort of thing. Which, might I add, is a perfect time for the logic difficulty to come into play. Just like have a few lines that only play if you're on easy mode to really spell it out. I think that would be fine. But anyway, I gather I'm criticizing this case before it's even started. And probably both of those solves are totally wrong, if history is any indication. But notes! It would be a very Danganronpa thing to do if Celeste were secretly in debt. And that's part of what is motivating her kill here. That she actually... She's the ultimate gambler because she takes crazy risks, not because she's really good at deciding which ones are good to gamble on. My best guess is Celeste has alter ego and somehow used him to convince Taka and Hifumi to do weird stuff. She killed Taka. Hifumi's acting as an accomplice, posed for the picture with an empty suit. Or Yasuhiro was drugged and already inside, but I don't know how he's standing up in that case. Hifumi feigns death in the nurse's office with blood bags from the refrigerator. Then he hides somewhere on the second floor, waits for everyone to run down to the nurse's office and start panicking, goes up and carts Taka down. At some point, he's wiped the blood off his glasses, I guess, upon leaving the nurse's office. And then Celeste went there and killed him for real, or like poisoned him or something that would kill him in like 10 minutes. I know the Monokuma file said they appear to have died by a similar wound, but whatever. Anyway, it feels like Hifumi, I agree with Makoto, it seems really unlikely that anyone just like brought Hifumi up 2 flights of stairs in a minute. That wasn't himself. Unless there's some like freight elevator we don't know about. But yeah, between the weird Japanese and the note, Celeste's sudden personality change, her being the one to suggest we leave Hifumi alone, which I thought was really suspect at the time. Although I wasn't certain that would mean he would instantly die, granted, but I thought it seemed weird. And her, like, constantly leading us away from the second floor whenever we went there, which is where we found Yasuhiro knocked out, and her being the one to find the repositioned bodies. Because after we found Hifumi's body the first time, which really that time was for Taka's body, I'm fairly sure, because I think Taka was actually dead at that time, we were on a timer for the class trial to begin, right? So it's not like Celeste could have waited for us to find the bodies. And moreover, if Hina and Sakura had checked and found it locked, they would never have gone back. But Celeste wanted us to find the bodies to find all the other sketchy stuff around there. Presumably. Or the killer, not necessarily Celeste, I guess. But if it was Celeste, that would explain why she then went and found them. Anyway, point is, Celeste is she's so bizarrely sketchy that I'm like, at this point, she's either the spy and just messing things up hugely, or she's the killer in this case. But her being the killer in this case would be so weird considering how sketchy she's acted since day one. It would make a lot of sense if she were the spy. And it would be strange if this game was like Kyoko's the spy and also we're just going to say that outright via Byakuya early on. But I digress. But yeah, I'm fairly confident the first body chime was Sakura, Byakuya, and Toko finding Taka, since Hifumi was not actually dead. And then the second one only played because Hifumi was genuinely near death at that time. Or it just played because we found Taka's body for the second time. But then there would have been a third one when Hifumi died. I don't know. So there were 4 hammers missing from the rack in the repository, and one that was placed there but looked very clean, as if it had been one of the justice hammers washed off. Which would mean there were 5 justice hammers in total? Or maybe like 2 with the same number? No, but... Well, I guess we weren't like We were eyeballing it to say they looked bigger, each looked bigger than the last, but anyway. Oh yeah, and just a random thought that security camera that was bugging out last episode, I think it was last episode, I wondered if that was maybe, I don't know what frame rate this game originally ran in, but I wonder if it used to run in 30 frames per second, and so there was a keyframed animation. Like sometimes in games, sprite-based games, they will store multiple sprites in the same image file, and so then when they're swapping them, all they're doing is like cropping one in via keyframe in like 1 or 2 frames. And when it glitched out, it looked like it was halfway in between 2 pictures of a security camera. So I wonder if it's just like, from translating it to 30 frames per second to 60 frames per second, they just did the keyframing bad. And so it just, there's one frame where it's scrolling in between the 2 images before swapping. And it was supposed to just be the red light blinking on and off. Well, that's neither here nor there. Let's actually do this. Sakura?
Damn.
I don't like Monokuma's carefree attitude.
On this we agree. Let's hurry up and go so we can make Hiro pay for his crimes. Are you listening? Wait till we get to the courtroom to begin your arguing. Was that addressed to me? Because Hina's the one arguing, I'd like to point out. It would appear the culprit has been confirmed. This trial will be over in no time. See, she was so, like, terrified 5 minutes ago, like, we're all gonna die! And now she's like, we're good. I doubt that's just Celeste being Celeste. It seems even a little too ridiculous for her.
Hey.
The story begins when we get down there. Poor Hiro must be bricking it. It wasn't me, you gotta believe me! I do, Hiro. It seems unlikely it's you.
Come on, Big Mac, let's do it!
Okay. Oh, we're gonna have Jill for the majority of this trial, I guess. Which, fair enough, we're gonna be showing evidence that has blood on it and stuff.
I took one last deep breath and exhaled slowly. I began to walk toward the elevator. Once everyone was aboard, the doors closed on their own, and the steel box began to move.
Wow, Yasuhiro and Sakura are standing real close together.
The clunking of the elevator kept us company as we fell further and further down. There was no going back. Until we all settled this, we couldn't go anywhere. Settled all this. You know, sometimes I just mix up the word order because I'm stupid. I'm not sure how long it was before the elevator finally came to a stop. The elevator doors slid open, opening up into a cruel fate.
This is the coolest color of courtroom we've had so far.
When I see you all gathered together like this, I realize just how few of you there are left. Your school life is slowly reaching its climax.
Tell me about it.
Only because of you.
Why? Why are you making us do such cruel things to each other?
What? Do you really hate me so much? But I'm so cute.
Come on.
No. Sayako was so cute. Chihiro was so cute. Kyoko and Hina really have their moments. Sakura has cute moments too. So does Yasuhiro, really. But you, on the other hand, are stone cold awful. Stop goofing around and begin the trial.
Don't rush me. Of course I'm gonna start it. I would never be like, stay tuned for the action-packed class trial after this commercial break. I'd never hold out on you like that. Okay, let's begin.
I mean, you're holding out right now. Just let us get to it.
Okay, let's begin. Get to your assigned seats.
And so the curtain opened once again. A deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal, a deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly faith, a deadly class trial.
Let's save. So we've got a new skill, deep breathing at this point, or breathing technique it's called. Costs 4, which we've just gotten, so that's nice. Focus gauge recovers more quickly, effective during non-stop debate, Hangman's Gambit, and bullet time battle. I didn't realize I could do focus during Hangman's Gambit. So we can equip them all! Yay! Alright, what presents do I have in store for when we win this to celebrate? Let's give them all a silent rate through my own here. Oh no, it does say the cause of death for each was a blow to the head, specifically. Okay, that's probably true. I'm slightly off put by the it is thought that they were both killed with a similar weapon. This specific dolly has no handles. They just mean no handles that rise up. It definitely has handles. I mean, that's categorically what those things are. Unless they're designed for, like, you to strap stuff in, I guess. You could use them as handles, though. But the point they're trying to get at is it would be very challenging to use this to bring something heavy up. Maybe you could bring it down by, like, wheeling it down, I think is what they're getting at. Sorry, no, rather, Taka's body would not have to have been wheeled down, because it was on the same floor when Makoto first found it as where it ended up. So my current theory is he wiped his own glasses, because we know he was alive at that point, so he could see where he was going. And maybe to make it more realistic that he could have seen Yasuhiro. The door connecting the art room to the repository was designed to open only from the repository side is categorically not what they mean. They mean it can only lock from the repository side, lock and unlock. You can open it from either side. If you couldn't open it from the outside, you would never have gotten in the first place. So that's just patently wrong, what they're writing here, but I know what they mean. One has to wonder if someone used it to wipe some blood away. Interesting, anyone wearing it would not be able to see their feet or bend at the waist more than 90 degrees. We got the bending at the waist thing. I don't remember everyone saying about
anything about not being able to see your feet, but it makes enough sense. It's a blocky costume. Good, I think I'm ready for this. Well, you know, sort of. And now they must confront 2 murders. Who claimed the lives of Hifumi and Kiyotaka? In this class trial, suspicion builds upon suspicion. As it does ever. Trial! All rise! Not for you, Monokuma.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results.
I guess in real life you would want
If
this to be
you can
recapped
figure
fairly
out
each
who
time.
done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one,
Death, demise, and
then
doom,
I'll
yes.
punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Now then, to begin with,
This is new.
We already know who did it.
was that?
It was Hiro. He does not have an alibi for when the murders took place, and we found him in that suit.
Whoa, guys, I can't help but notice you haven't started a non-stop debate
Don't
yet.
try and deny it. You killed them.
I didn't! Someone knocked me out! I was asleep the whole time! I don't know anything about it!
Shut your murdering mouth, murderer!
Who are you calling a murderer?
I am sorry to say, Hiro, but we do have evidence.
Which we'll produce in the non-stop debate.
Blueprints for the suit. Parts we assume were used to build it, and all of it was found in your room. You have to admit, the evidence is quite compelling. It points to you as having created the suit and wearing it while committing crime after crime.
How many times do I have to tell you? I don't know!
Is Hiro really the killer? Or, before anything else, we have to make that clear. Yes, I think we're probably going to be able to bust out the other set of writing here, Yasuhiro's message. Right. Okay, so I'm probably gonna have to put Yasuhiro's message on someone who's gonna be like, this clearly has your gross
Everything we
handwriting
found
on
in
it.
your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough. that you are the culprit.
Right. Also gotta remember I can memorize yellow
I don't know
things.
anything about that stuff! It's not true! It's a conspiracy!
Hiro, why? Why did you kill them?
It's just like Hina said.
Hold on a second!
Oh wait, crap, hang on, there were only like 2 yellow points. The blueprints and... Compelling evidence that Hiro's the killer. Is that really true? Am I just supposed to put the note on his writing on the blueprints? Because the handwriting looks different?
Everything we found in your room.
Because I can't say there's nothing to dispute about your room. I guess that's what I want to shoot here. No, that's wrong! Okay, good. Fine.
Are we sure Hiro really made those blueprints?
What do you mean?
Well, take a look at
I'm glad we got to
this.
this one early on. They didn't make me do
The
too much
note that
rigmarole.
Hiro wrote, asking everyone to meet up after Alter Ego disappeared. The handwriting's obviously different, wouldn't you say? When you compare it to the blueprints.
There's no way you could think the same person made both of them.
Unless that person made it a point to
Kyoko
disguise
stayed
their handwriting.
charismatically silent up to that point.
No, the differences are bigger than that, I think.
So would I.
Come on! I'm not smart enough to think of trying to change my handwriting anyway.
I think if you guys can all agree on that, no offense, Hiro.
So Makoto, are you saying you don't think Hiro's the culprit?
Correct!
He is not the only one. I think Hiro is innocent as well.
Oh, that doesn't that doesn't feel right, but I guess I'm glad.
Who was in that Robo Justice suit?
It might have still been
Is it
Hiro,
like Hiro said? Was there really someone running around in a second suit?
but it seems more like someone framed him.
Individual hidden within the suit. Go ahead, Makoto. Tell them who it was.
And of course he passes it off to me. I'm pretty sure they want me to say it was still Yasuhiro because the truth bullet specifically says, it seems to only fit Hiro. It literally said no one but Yasuhiro could have possibly fit into the costume. Not someone very similar to his build like Byakuya would have had to. No one but him could have possibly fit. So I'm fairly certain they want me to say it was him anyway. It would be a pretty big leap if they wanted me to say that because Byakuya is a similar height. So I doubt it's that.
Who was in the Robo Justice suit?
The suspicious individual in question, the one that must have been in the suit, was Hiro.
I got it!
it!
Other than Hiro, I can't think of anyone else it could have been. Obviously, he was the one in that particular suit. And we never found any kind of second suit.
Was the Illuminati one of the options there? Sorry, that only just registered with me. Everybody would have liked
There
that.
can be no doubt. Hiro is the prime suspect.
No, Byakuya.
That doesn't make any
That
sense.
doesn't open on the back.
You just said Hiro didn't do it.
It makes perfect sense. Hiro was the suspicious individual
Okay.
in the suit, but he's not the culprit.
Don't phrase it stupid like that,
So
Byakuya.
what
You're
you're
freaking me out.
saying is-
That's right. The culprit in this case has nothing to do with being in the Robo-Justice suit.
Maybe not nothing to do, but it wasn't the person in the Robo-Justice suit that we
Now
found.
that's a bold assumption. And what reason do you have to make such a statement? You do have a reason, yes?
Of course. But before we get to that, there's something else we need to clarify first. So let's get that out of the way.
Let's hear it.
Hey, stop trying to boss us around.
I don't think there's any stopping that. He's gonna try that till the day he
All
dies.
things have a proper order.
So what is it? What needs to be clarified?
We must clarify the method of transportation for Taka's lifeless body.
Oh, we do? I thought that it was fairly obvious it was the cart with the tarp on it. Unless he has some other big
It
idea.
would seem that his corpse was moved using certain particular items.
Which I won't name, for no reason whatsoever.
Makoto, can you tell us what they were?
Sure. Things that used to move Taka's body, they must have been... Well, things was the tarp and the dolly, but I think we're starting with the dolly, right?
I got it!
There's still one more thing.
I got it!
They were a dolly and a tarp, right?
What's with the attitude?
So, let's see if I can explain. Taka's body disappeared from the equipment room, and then we rediscovered it in the repository. And when we found it for the second time, it was wrapped in a blue tarp, right? It was the same tarp that, up until then, was stored in the equipment room. So the killer must have seen it there, and decided to use it when they moved Taka's body. That way, they wouldn't leave any bloodstains while they were moving it.
Okay, that explains the tarp. And the dolly?
Same thing. I'm sure the dolly was in the equipment room when we first found Taka's body there. But when the body disappeared, so did the dolly. Later, when Taka's body reappeared in the repository, so did the dolly.
In other words, you think they used the dolly to move the body. Am I right? But are you sure you are not mistaken?
Never, but...
Are you absolutely positive the dolly was in the equipment room when we found Taka's body? That
I didn't
dolly
see
was
it then,
made
but-
specifically for moving large objects between the repository and the art room. It would be very strange indeed to discover it had made its way to the equipment room.
Oh, no one's saying that's not strange, Celeste. But I'm pretty confident it was moved there considering the blood
Is it not
trails and the
possible
tire marks.
that it was in the repository
The other way
all
around. The
along?
tire marks and the blood
You
trail.
simply didn't realize it?
She's raised an objection. How do you respond?
With the tire
There
marks.
is no shame in being wrong. Nobody expects much from you anyway.
I know, but if you'd let me show the goddamn tire marks instead of
Except for the
talking.
fact that you rarely understand what is going on around
Oh,
you.
Celeste. Wow, I've never had anyone sound so nice while being so mean, but maybe I can change your mind. If I could just explain to them why the dolly must have been moved from the equipment room to the repository.
New element has been added to bullet time battles. Oh, okay. Absolutely. Let's talk about reloading. Starting with this next bullet time battle, we're going to add one more ingredient to the recipe. On the bottom of the screen underneath the tempo marker, you'll see your ammo count. Up until now, there hasn't really been a limit on how you can destroy your opponent's statements. Now, just locking on and pressing the left mouse button won't be enough to handle them. Now it will cost you one bullet to destroy a single remark. Once we're out of bullets, you can't destroy any more statements no matter how locked on you are. So what this means is, don't press left click when there isn't one targeted. Just keep right clicking until there's a message targeted and then left click. Okay, I think is what we're saying. However, you can reload by pressing tab. Nothing confusing about that. Just like locking on, you have to press the tab key in time with the tempo marker. Oh, okay. Basically just remember the tab key now is a function along with right and left. You'll automatically reload at the start of fever time, and your ammo count will not decrease. Oh, that's good. But if your action difficulty is set to gentle, you won't have to reload at all. Good. In which case, you ignore everything I said. I don't want to do a bullet time battle. I just want to present the tire marks. Okay. The moment of truth. Well, a moment of truth. Let's see how good I am at this.
I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are a fool.
Oh, it only loads one bullet. I see how that could be a problem. Oh boy.
You have
Hang on.
cannot agree. You are
Fire at will.
so pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your
Look, don't think you can distract me by calling me pathetic, even though that totally is a huge turn on for me normally. I hate rhythm games, okay? So you're gonna have to, you gotta do bullet something a lot more disruptive than that, basically. Okay. Oh, that was it, okay. I thought I was gonna have to try a lot harder than that for a minute. But no, your focus time lasts like way longer than it should. I didn't take a single hit there, did I?
If you're asking for proof that the dolly moved, I have it right here. When I found the dolly in the repository, one of the wheels
Bullet time
had
battles
bloodstain
freak me
on
out. I didn't realize reloading only put one bullet back in. You didn't say that. It was so hard to like bounce my eyes back and forth to be like sure it was reloading when— oh, whatever. You're gonna tell me there's more than one bullet time battle in this?
There was a pool of blood in the equipment room with a tire mark in it that matched the dolly wheel's tread.
Right, I guess generally for the bullet time battles, it doesn't actually let you do the solve, but you know I had that solve. It wasn't a very difficult one.
Through the blood on accident as they wheeled the body out of the room.
Well, it would be pretty hard not to, unless— yeah, no, I guess you could have put the tarp down over the blood, rolled him onto it, and then moved him onto it without the dolly going through it. Yeah, you're probably right. Probably was an accident.
They moved the body into the repository.
Although you'd think it would have trailed blood a little longer, actually.
So there's my proof that the dolly was used to move Taka's body.
Fairly compelling. Jeez, does Celeste really hate me that much?
Anyway, that was just something we had to
I doubt
get
that's
out of
the
way.
reason she's
Let's get back
getting.
to the main subject.
Yeah, the subject of how Robo Justice didn't do it. Because if it's not a killer robot, then what kind of robot is it?
An accomplice robot. A setup robot.
I'm not sure that really matters.
I'd be happy to explain why the occupant of the suit couldn't possibly be the killer. If you look back on how the body was transported—
oh yeah, you'd have to
it would
bend down to
become
do the dolly.
Immediately obvious.
It hadn't clicked with me why they were talking about the 90 degrees thing. Yeah, but they then did specifically say to move this dolly, you'd have to like really get down on your hands and knees or like bend over, like basically fold in half. So yeah. If I look at how the body was moved, it'll be clear why the person in the suit couldn't have done it. What does he mean by that? I think I've cracked it! Fear not, Makoto, I probably have to put the Robo Justice suit into my chamber here. Costume, yeah, it's the first one. That's nice. It is the costume that specifically says you can't bend more than 90 degrees, right? Hang on, just 2 seconds, I gotta just check the— calm down, everyone! Everyone just calm down, I just wanna make sure I got the right one here. Costume, 90 degrees. Okay, good. So we're on the— sorry, wrong bullet. There we go.
And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Someone's gonna say, you have to bend down to do dolly something.
Then loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off, right?
Now, keep in mind that the dolly doesn't have a handle.
Well, yeah, but even without a handle,
You could bend over to do
all
it.
you'd have to do
Yeah,
is bend
right.
over.
Okay, what did I have? No, that's wrong!
You're absolutely right that you could push a dolly without a handle if you stoop down low. But if you were wearing that suit, do you think you could actually get into a position like that?
What do you mean?
Think back to what you said when we were all checking out the suit together. Remember?
I'm blind as a bat in here. Can't see my feet at all.
Oh, I don't remember her saying that.
I'm surprised you got anywhere in this thing.
I'm telling you, it wasn't me!
And not to mention, you totally can't bend at the waist. Seems like a pretty obvious oversight.
When you're in that suit,
That sounds good.
not only can you not see your feet, but you can't even bend at the waist.
More than 90 degrees.
Am I right about that?
Now that you mention it, yeah.
It seems like it'd be awfully hard to push that dolly if you couldn't bend over.
Just kick it along. But no, I agree.
What's to stop you from simply pushing the dolly with your feet?
I was joking, but it seems unlikely.
Can't even see your feet? You really think someone could kick the dolly all that way?
Bearing in mind it was done pretty quickly, yeah.
Yeah,
Seems
it'd be
unlikely.
totally impossible. Not that I can say for sure myself.
On top of that,
Nice save.
if you were wearing such a rigid, cumbersome suit, it's very unlikely you would have the dexterity to go about wrapping the body in a tarp.
A fair point also.
Look at you, Byakuya. You're having so many thoughts today.
I mean, isn't that just a matter of taking off the suit when you're ready to move the body?
Very difficult to do by oneself. There's absolutely no chance that the costume was taken off just to move the body because, you can't take it off by yourself. Once it's on, you can never take it off.
I got it.
Taking off the suit was an option. If you remember,
I don't know what's up with this thing, but I can't actually get it off. A little help?
Why would you make something you cannot take off by yourself?
I didn't make the stupid friggin' thing!
There's a clasp on the back that's keeping you from getting it off. It looks pretty sturdy. I don't think you can get it off on your own. We don't really have a choice. Let's help him.
That's true. It seems impossible to put the suit on or take it off without help.
Then, you really can't take it off by yourself? Hero wasn't just making it up?
You were there.
Of course I wasn't making it up.
if he could have gotten it off by himself, I don't think he would have let us see him wearing it. Showing up in the suit was basically an invitation for everyone to suspect it.
Yeah, he wouldn't have put it on in the first place if he couldn't get it off because he'd have to go to the trial wearing it.
Yeah, that's right.
So, it's really,
Poor hero is just like, yeah, I didn't do it his whole time.
darling?
Barely has had a single conscious thought other than screaming that.
To be clear,
Sounds that way.
whoever did move the body, it couldn't have been Hero in the robot suit, correct?
No, wait. Just a second, if you please. Have you forgotten about the picture that I took? You all got a good look at it, did you not? The image of Hifumi being dragged away by Robo-Justice?
It does look like you could have propped the robot up on something. I mean, actually, he's holding it up, kind of, with his arms. I'm fairly certain this is staged.
Whoever was in that suit is not the culprit. How do you explain that?
Because thin air can't be a culprit, Celeste. Don't be
Besides,
silly.
Do you remember what the now deceased Hifumi said?
How did you get hurt?
The guy hit me!
What guy?
Robo Justice. That's what I decided to call him just now.
So long as those facts exist, the proper conclusion is beyond question.
I heartfully
The
disagree.
individual inside the suit and the culprit are one and the same. It was Hero, without a doubt.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Poor
gotta
Celeste
be
is
right.
roping poor Hina into this.
Hold on a second.
It's still far too early to reach that conclusion.
I concur.
Besides, there's no hurry to decide who did it before we rush to a verdict. Shouldn't we explore every single possibility?
I like that idea, but you shouldn't say there's no rush in earshot of Monokuma. He'll start adding more motives.
Instead of seizing on one viewpoint, the truth is
Always seems to be
uncovered
rushed,
by
that fellow.
analyzing things from every angle.
Perhaps, but where do we go from here?
I don't know, literally pick one of, like, any of the other 13 pieces of evidence we have, and I'm sure something interesting
Let's
will come to
review
light.
this series of unfortunate events from the beginning. Maybe we'll uncover something new.
I believe the killer was Count Olaf.
What a pain in the ass!
I don't disagree, but our lives are on the line.
Plus,
I'm sorry, I
maybe
skipped
we'll
that.
get to find out where the heck Kyoko was when everything went down.
If this is what it takes, we have to do it, is what she said when I accidentally skipped. Sorry.
All right then, let's take another look back at what happened. I suppose we could start with this morning.
I would like that.
4 of us gathered together in the dining hall. Makoto, Hina, Kyoko, and myself. We waited there for quite a while, but nobody else showed up, so we went to look for everyone.
Sounds right so far. Also, I should note, I've been told that at some point the white noise gets more dense to the point that you actually will literally have to explode some of it to carry on, but until such a time, I don't want to, like, distract myself with it. I'll figure out how to use the silencer when we get there.
That was around 8 a.m.
And as soon as we split up, Kyoko went missing.
Soon after that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room and quickly came to get Makoto and me.
It seems I was unconscious for about an hour after I was attacked by my mystery assailant.
Just conveniently waking up the second we got there, huh? It's
I know
so
it
interesting.
was an hour because I remember being attacked a little after 7.
Sorry, I know I'm,
When we saw
I'm so
Celeste's
suspicious of Celeste.
picture
It'll be
and
so...
discovered that her assailant had been wearing a strange costume.
I'll feel like a real jerk if it wasn't her. But no, you know what? I'll feel like slightly a jerk because she's being real sketchy if it isn't her. Like, disruptively sketchy if it isn't her.
As it turns out, it was Robo
I think I'll almost be
Justice.
more annoyed if it isn't her.
It also
I'll be more
soon
annoyed with her, I
became
mean.
clear that this same Robo Justice had abducted Hifumi. We were soon joined in our search by Byakuya and Toko, and then went on to find Hifumi in the library. He was injured, so we took him to the nurse's office and resumed our search for the suspect. But not long after leaving the nurse's office,
What's wrong? I saw a shadow, something moving around at the top of the stairs.
When Celeste told us that, we decided to split up and search the second floor.
Until Celeste told us that was a bad
Soon
idea.
after that,
I saw someone moving around on the 3rd floor, and I yelled out to everyone as soon as I did.
Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw him, the strange costumed man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down into the hallway and disappeared.
and then
Huh? What was that? That came from downstairs. It must have been Hifumi. He's in the nurse's office. This is bad. Come on, we have to go back.
at At that point, we decided to divide up into 2 groups. Celeste, Hina, and I went back to the nurse's office, while Sakura, Byakuya, and Toko chased after the suspect.
It all sounds right to my memory so far. My memory
When we
of
got
Sakura's
back to the nurse's office,
recital
we
anyway.
found Hifumi dead, and that's when we heard the body discovery announcement. I left Celeste and Hina there and headed back to the 3rd floor to let the others know what had happened.
Meanwhile, we had just discovered Taka's body in the equipment room. We must have found both bodies at almost exactly the same time, because we heard the same announcement not long after we discovered his body.
Only, of course, Hifumi was not actually dead at that time.
And that's when I told you guys about Hifumi. Then the 3 of us headed for the nurse's office. But right after we left the physics lab, we ran into Celeste, who'd arrived after us. And she told us something very surprising.
Hifumi's body has disappeared.
We rushed back to the nurse's office and saw that she was right.
I love that while it was fading back from the flashback, Makoto was like clutching his chest like, oh my god, I remember that being so scary. Anyway, what does this mean?
Then we remembered we'd left Toko passed out in the equipment room. So
Like he
we
was
hurried back again.
Really putting on the Shakespeare in the Park for when he was reciting what Celeste said to him.
This can't be happening. Are we hallucinating all this or something?
But when we got there, we discovered that now Taka's body had also gone missing. Next thing we knew, we were searching the school for 2 missing dead bodies.
And Celeste, the most important person in this case for some reason, mysterious reason, then found them.
After some time,
Celeste informed us that she'd found the bodies, and we all headed to the repository, which is where we rediscovered the corpses.
I think that about covers it.
I see. The whole thing sounds exceptionally complicated.
Doesn't it, though?
It certainly seems to me that these are not a simple series of connected events.
Okay, well, if that's true, then what?
Rather than a single series of events, I think we have to consider each murder a separate situation.
Interesting
And
proposal.
From there, we can uncover the contradictions surrounding all of them.
Consider one at a time,
Now
anyway,
then,
makes enough
Let's
sense.
get started, beginning with what happened to Taka.
I would have started with Hifumi. He seems like has the more obvious weird stuff about it. The contradiction is hidden in what happened to Taka. None are springing to mind. In order to uncover the truth of this case, I have to find them no matter what. Non-stop debate? Okay, I'll handle that. Contradictions, that makes it sound like they want me to use a memorization here, but I'll listen in here. Broken wristwatch sounds like it could be important, doesn't it? I'm gonna come file 3 and you also hear his message. Let's just hear them all out, first of all, as usual.
Regarding
Get my
Taka's death,
reticle off the screen.
I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after.
Oh, they really related?
know what order they were killed in.
No, we don't.
Taka came last
what makes you say that?
because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a swing of Justice Hammer 4.
See?
So they'd like us to believe.
So it's obvious Taka came after.
So I guess they want me to put the wristwatch on what order? But really what it should be is, it's obvious Taka came after is what's yellow.
The order that the Justice Hammers were used in to commit the murders. Something about that is bothering me.
Okay, sorry, so the yellow thing, I think they want me to say what order.
We already know what order.
Because that was like the only yellow thing here, wasn't it? Oh, I was wrong. Sorry. Come on, Makoto, don't scare me like that. Makes me think something weird's going on. I need to think about it one more time. There must be a contradiction in there somewhere. Sorry. What order? Taka came last. Let me see that. The numbering of the Justice Hammers. What do I have in my things? Wristwatch message. It's Yasuhiro's message, not his account, right? So this one. So that's nothing. I would think the wristwatch would be usable here. Do they want me to put the wristwatch on the numbering? To say the numbering is wrong because I can't memorize the numbering and put it on what order and just be like the numbering was wrong because that's not a contradiction in and of itself. It feels like the wristwatch is what makes sense here, but it doesn't make sense to put on either of the yellow words they've given me. Okay, that doesn't make sense. That's what we're saying, though, right? Is that his wristwatch was broken earlier? But I'm not allowed to put it on either, so you have to do a memorization? 2 seconds. Monokuma file says what? Oh, they don't want me to say the numbering because it's thought they were killed with a similar weapon means they were killed with the same hammer? Because that's not... The hammers are similar weapons in different sizes. That's categorically
not what that means. But then, you know what? It is weird that they put the monokuma file here. I guess that's what they want me to say, but if so, they should have phrased it like they were both killed with virtually the same weapon, or with a weapon of similar size. But the numbering is clearly the... Okay, that wasn't that either. Okay, I'm totally lost. So they want me to memorize one and shoot it at the other? But I don't know which one to shoot at what. I guess I'll try them both?
Because of the numbering of the justice...
No, it's wrong.
Okay, I don't see how that contradicts itself. Please explain, Makoto.
There's no reason to assume that the hammers were
Oh.
used in the same order as their numbers.
Well, yeah, I could have told you that, but that's not a contradiction. What kind of bullshit answer is that? The thing that contradicts that Hifumi, that Taka, what? the thing that contradicts that Taka was killed after is he was killed at, we have the wristwatch that suggests he was killed at 6 a.m. and we saw Hifumi die before our eyes at like 8:30. What the fuck was that? Yeah, I told you, like, from the first moment they numbered the hammers that doesn't mean they were using the same order. But that's not a contradiction, that's a suggestion. That's some real true and honest to goodness nonsense right there. How is that possible? that slipped through QA. Whatever.
Anything? That's just another way the killer tried to disguise their actions.
So you're saying the culprit wanted us to think the hammers were used in order, but in reality, Taka was killed before Hifumi? Okay then, let's see the proof.
Evidence that proves Taka was killed, but... Now they want me to put the wristwatch. See, I should have been able to put the wristwatch on what order? Evidence that proves Taka was killed before Hifumi. I feel like there was something. You're not just gonna let me pick it? Oh, Hangman's Gambit. Okay, so it's gonna be time or wristwatch or something like that. I guess that could be wristwatch? Yeah, okay, yeah. So let's find a W. Yeah, bang! An I. Okay, so yeah, it's actually... No, sorry, that's not an I. Admiral. They're actually moving a little faster here, so this Hangman's Gambit is a little more complex than the ones we've done so far. I. Give me an S. Give me an S, please. If you could just give me a blimmin' S, please. Thank you. And now a T, please. Oh, just waiting around for the right letters. It's really irritating, as it turns out. Thank you. Thank you. Give me that. Thank you. And now one of those sweet, sweet H's, if you would. If you could be so kind as to just get past me, sauce me one of those sweet, sweet H's in your own time. Thank you. Okay. Wristwatch! Please give me my health back.
I got it! Taka's wristwatch. See? Look. It broke with the hands pointing just past 6 o'clock.
It must have gotten broken when he was attacked by the killer. Because as of last night...
Hey, you! How long are you gonna keep us waiting? Taka's irritated voice pierced the air as he stared pointedly at his wristwatch. It's almost 10 o'clock, you know that? Bedtime for all the little boys and girls!
So if it wasn't broken after 6 last night, then he must have been attacked around 6 this morning.
Just to be clear, I see how they thought that was a reasonable way to bring up the just because the hammers were numbered in a certain order doesn't mean they were used in that order. I see why they thought that, but you should not have been able to lose health by using the wristwatch there. If you used the wristwatch there, it should have been a situation where Kyoko says, there's no doubt that that's important, Makoto, but let's focus on something else that suggests they might have been killed in a different order, or whatever. But really, you should have just been able to use the watch there. Because if you use the watch there, there's no question that you understand Taka was killed out of order, and the wristwatch supports that. So, by sequential logic, you would then understand the hammers were used out of order. It suggests you know that, so that's very silly. But anyway.
And that would be his official time of death.
But if that's true, then he was killed well before Hifumi.
And before Celeste was attacked this morning, which happened around 7.
But that wasn't the most egregious of their localization goofs.
Before any of the other incidents took place.
Or maybe it was in the original as well. It seems hard to imagine.
Slipped past all of us. We made the wrong assumption about the order of events, all because of those justice hammers.
That's exactly why the culprit wrote the numbers on each hammer and had them increase in size. That way, when we saw how they were used in each incident, we'd easily make that wrong assumption.
So they want me to think that Byakuya is some kind of, like, extraordinary mastermind evil genius, but I called that the fucking second they showed up in numbers. And you can't say that I'm smarter than Byakuya. So he's just acting like an idiot for like one line in a really weird and disconnected way.
Now, if Taka was killed around 6,
It's
then
weird.
everyone's alibis for his murder go out the window. Because when he was killed, we hadn't met up in the dining hall
Well,
yet.
that's interesting. Okay, I hadn't clicked that together yet.
That may be true in the case of Taka's
That
murder.
it mixes up the alibi
but
situation.
all of our alibis still hold true for Hifumi's death.
Sort of? Not really, because he didn't die when we actually found his body.
That's right. With him, at least, we're all safe.
Huh? What was that? That came from downstairs. It must have been Hifumi. He's in the nurse's office. This is bad. Come on, we have to go back.
When we heard Hifumi screaming, we were all together. Except for Hiro and Kyoko.
Right, but that's not when he died. As everyone
Then we
knows
all
by this
ran
point.
down to the nurse's office, and that's where we found his body.
That's totally true. We're all in the clear.
Oh, I know! They must have recorded him screaming on a tape or something, then played it later on!
I did give Kyoko that whole one-time playback message tape, but I don't think that
That's true.
counts
Where's
here.
the tape?
I don't know.
Don't just go making stuff
Well, it
up.
self-destructs, yeah. You know?
Anyway, we all have rock-solid alibis for when we heard Hifumi scream.
Which, crucially, is not the same time as
Since
when he
all of us
died.
were there together, clearly none of us could have killed him.
And it does not stop there. There was also the moment when we discovered his body had disappeared. When his body vanished from the nurse's office, Hina and I were in the bathroom together, while everyone else was in the equipment room, correct? And then there's the disappearance of Taka's body from the equipment room. At that time, we were all gathered together in the nurse's office because of Hifumi going missing.
Well, don't forget, I was passed out in the equipment room the whole time.
Wait, then what if Genocide Jill did it? She could have dragged Taka's body out of there right then!
Even if she could pull that off, there's no way she could have done the same with Hifumi's body. Because, as we just established, she was passed out in the equipment room when his body disappeared.
Besides, I didn't do either of them anyway.
In other words, it is
Compelling
impossible
argument.
that any of us could have killed Hifumi or moved either of their bodies. On the other hand, Hiro and Kyoko had disappeared, so they most certainly could
It's gotta
have
be
done
Celeste with
this
how
thing.
accusational she is this whole case.
So what now, Kyoko?
For now,
Boss, what do we do
can't get
next?
Fixated on who did it, or we'll just keep going around in circles. So instead of who, I propose we start talking about how.
Which may, of
In
course, give us some clues
particular,
about that.
I think we need to figure out how Hifumi's body got moved.
That's true. We searched everywhere, but we couldn't figure out how to explain his body disappearing.
I'm still holding that he probably
And
walked himself
according
because he
to
was
what
still alive at that
Celeste
point.
said,
We could not have been gone for more than a minute or two, though. So then the killer was able to get in and move Hifumi's body in that short amount of time? It would seem so.
his body apparently disappeared in the 1 minute her and Hina took their eyes off of it. But to carry that much weight from the first floor up to the third in that short amount of time?
Oh man, yeah! There's no way! It'd be impossible!
You're getting it, Hiro!
Well, what if I told you there was a way to make the impossible possible?
I would say don't drag it out so I can guess myself.
How? If the dead body were to move itself.
Okay, fine. I don't get to do anything. It's cool. I'll just sit over here and pout. It's fine. It's fine. And on that note, that's all for now. Thank you so very much for coming around. Next week on the channel is going to be some more Okami. Oh, and by the way, this video is slated to go up on June 5th. I'm really behind on my editing. I have to, edit a crap ton of stuff after, I stopped recording this, so it probably won't quite go up on June 5th, but if it does, happy Switch 2 launch day. I'm pretty sure in some time zones it's launching on June 5th, and that's all for now. Okay, this case isn't annoying me as much as the previous two, but there's it's one or two things so far that I'm irritated about. But I'm curious to see how it races to its conclusion. How much health do I have? It doesn't show me, but the answer is not enough, because that stupid wristwatch thing. Well, that's all for now. Thank you so very much for coming around. Hopefully I'll see you around. Everyone's gonna be out of here now. Peace! Okay, that's cool. I was worried I was gonna get some card or something. I wasn't Paris now. Yes, he is. Do I know how to get away from this? No, I don't. Oh, okay, it just draws you towards it. You can just run. Okay, I didn't know that. No problem.